At least I only turned Starkiller into an orphan. That's progress, right? Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, one of the last projects from LucasArts before EA and DICE got their grubby little hands on the franchise. Released in 2008, the game was originally intended to focus on Darth Maul until George Lucas decided he would rather further expand on Star Wars, filling in the gap between episodes 3 and 4. Lucas himself came up with the storyline for the game, so he could flesh out the subplot of the birth of the rebellion that he had to cut from Revenge of the Sith. Things kick off the best way a Star Wars game or film can, for that matter, with me wrecking shop on Kashyyyk, hunting a Jedi in hiding. After I'm through turning some walking carpets into floor mats, I finally find the Jedi I'm looking for, voiced by Professor Utonium himself, Tom Kane. He also voices Captain Ozzik Stern, but we'll get to him in a minute. I learned Master Utonium has a son, and I have to say, why am I the bad guy for breaking the no wife, no family Jedi rule, but this guy gets a pass? After I whack his old man, I take the boy as my secret apprentice, and that's where the real story begins. Sam Witwer does a phenomenal job as Starkiller. He's not only a talented actor and voiceover artist, but a true Star Wars fan with an encyclopedic knowledge of the franchise. As many fans probably know, Starkiller, not Skywalker, was the original name George Lucas chose for his hero's name in Star Wars, so it was nice seeing that name used for a character instead of a stolen plot device like Episode 7. Now, it wouldn't be Star Wars without a silly droid or two, and the Force Unleashed carries on the tradition with Proxy, a lightsaber training droid who can emulate Jedi for Starkiller to practice fighting, projecting their image over his body with a holographic emitter. He's a little annoying at times, but I'll take 1,000 proxies over that Robimbo L337. I really don't know what Lando sees in her. I could understand it more if he was dating a droid like Proxy, because at least she could make herself look like any hot chick in the galaxy. But anyway, Proxy is Starkiller's best friend, even though he's programmed to try to kill him at every turn. It makes for a comical relationship when he apologizes every time he fails. One of the training modules Proxy uses in the game is Pretty Wizard. Out of nowhere, he fights you once as Darth Maul. He seems to have a habit of showing up out of left field in Star Wars these days, and ironically, Sam Witwer voices Darth Maul in both the Clone Wars and Rebels cartoon shows, as well as Emperor Palpatine, so the guy really gets around in Star Wars. All of you anime fans out there will be interested to know that Steve Blum of Cowboy Bebop fame voices every stormtrooper in the game. He also voices them in Rebels as well as the character Zeb, but I'll always think of him as Shishio from the Rurouni Kenshin series. His character always resonated with me for some reason. Maybe it's because he was betrayed and burned alive by his friends. Eventually I'll have to review the live-action Kenshin trilogy. If you haven't seen it yet, you really should check it out. As I mentioned earlier, Tom Kane voices Captain Ozzik Stern, an Imperial officer who runs a Wookiee labor camp with a penchant for hunting. His trophy room is full of Star Wars creatures and Easter eggs, most notably being a Gun frozen in carbonite Han Solo style, and the head of the giant from the Caravan of Courage, which, yes, I will be reviewing after Return of the Jedi. Voiceover actor Matt Sloan does a reasonable job with his impression, but come on, why couldn't they have just cast me in the part? I haven't been too busy since Return of the Jedi. I've just been kind of laying around chilling at a barbecue with my son on Endor, so I could have easily flown up for the part. Billy Smits reprises his role as Bail Organa, and we even get Leia and Mon Mothma showing up as a little cameo in the game, making the world feel like the Star Wars we all know and love. Composers Mark Grisky and Jez Harlan add new music to the Star Wars saga, and writing music that can stand alongside John Williams' original themes is no small feat. And while you can never top Williams, the new themes and motifs developed by Grisky and Harlan fit nicely in the Star Wars universe. Shakti is also in this game. She's hiding out on the mushroom planet Felucia. The flaw with her character in this game, besides looking like Sheena, Queen of the Jungle for some reason, is how she tries to convince Starkiller to stop following my orders. She comes off more like a Sith Lord trying to seduce him to the dark side, rather than a Jedi trying to turn him to the light, telling him he could be so much more if he just joined her. She has a Padawan named Mars Brood, and really, is anyone surprised she turns to the dark side? She's always angry, she wants to fight, and has red devil horns for crying out loud. The visuals and scope of this game show inspiration and imagination. It's clear it was made by fans who grew up loving Star Wars. The Force Unleashed turned everything in Star Wars up to 11, from pulling Star Destroyers out of the sky with the Force to fighting bull rancors with massive tusks, but it still manages to keep the tone and feeling of the franchise intact. I really wish they would have turned this into a film, because the story feels like classic Star Wars. Once again, George Lucas shows his fascination with the concept of creating your own problems while trying to divert them. A classic message not to meddle with fate, because the Emperor in his pride tries to gather all of his enemies in one place so he can crush them before they can organize into a threat. But in so doing, he unwittingly causes the very Rebel Alliance that destroys him in the end. It adds a new layer of subtlety and complexity to the events of the films, while never compromising the mythology or beloved fan characters. In the end, The Force Unleashed gives us more of what we love from Star Wars, while filling in some of the missing pieces in an interesting way. It captures the sense of adventure and thrilling excitement that made fans fall in love with Star Wars in the first place. So for its imaginative visuals and use of the Force, compelling storyline, excellent score, and stellar performance by Sam Witwer, I give The Force Unleashed 4 out of 5 Death Stars. The Force is strong with this one. Tune in next week as I review Rogue One. I have a few words for Gareth Edwards. This has been Vader Reviews. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And follow me on Twitter. Join the Empire today. You do not yet realize your importance. Share these videos, and together we will rule the internet. And always remember, you don't know the power of the dark side.